Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sandra P's GenXtra. Thank you for stopping by on an early Saturday morning, satisfying Saturday. I have an appointment today. I'm taking my niece to get her hair braided or either twisted. We'll see what she's gonna do. She's 7, but she has really big hair, and it's natural, so it is a lot of work. So we might probably try to start a professional working on her hair now. So I had that to do. I was able to stop in yesterday. I ended up with a super short cut, which is not what I asked for. I was just getting it short on the back and sides and then having her coil because eventually I'm going to lock. But the girl, I think she likes to do the coils on super short hair because it's easier for her. But I'm going to have length eventually. I'm not really worried about it. It'll come back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up my notes. I was trying to pull up, but the live as well while I'm live, so that I can look at the notes and then just see what the camera does while I'm reading the notes from Traitor 3. I don't need to read them. I just need them kind of as a prompt. That helps me when I have that. So I'm going to pull this up on here, and then eventually I'll be able to go in and see what it looks like, because this is the iPad. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. I feel like I kind of need. Good morning, Gwen Rising, Mama Bees, and chat. I think we're gonna have a lot of team replay because I'm up a super early Saturday morning, taking my niece to her hair appointment for my sister. But I was doing the episode 5 review of Traitors and then commenting on the season up to now, my thoughts about the cast and everything. So what I'm doing is just going in. I want to see how it looks on camera while I pull my notes up, open my notes back up. Okay. I apologize. What I'm going to do, just so I get this up here and get ready. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and review the Traitors episode 5, and then I'm going to, of course, refer to the other episodes. Okay, now with this episode, we know the way that they come in. They're at breakfast. They're not actually. There's the breakfast room, but they'll start in the Tourette. So the Tourette is where the actual Traitors are. The most explosive episode so far has been Bob the Drag Queen. As we all know, a lot of people have reviewed it already. So Bob the Drag Queen is one of the most, I would say, audacious traitors. He's just in everybody's face. He's friends with everybody. He's loudly declaring he's a faithful all the time. So he is the one that I don't think anybody, none of the faithful seem to suspect except Dylan. Dylan has had Bob the Drag Queen on his radar since they got there. So in the Tourette, we have Boston Rob, Danielle, and Carolyn. The preview, at the end of the round table, when Bob the Drag Queen they found out that they had gotten rid of a traitor finally instead of another faithful. They all cheered, especially Dylan. And at breakfast the next morning, they are all congratulating each other for finally getting rid of a traitor. They take us back to the Tourette to show us how the traitors actually came to that decision. And as I suspected, Boston Rob steamrolled over Carolyn, over Danielle, because he perceives them as weaker than him, and they are weaker than him. And Carolyn correctly says in one of her confessionals that the reason he got rid of Bob the Drag Queen was because he was kind of upset that he wasn't as influential. Well, he wasn't as influential with Bob the Drag Queen there. So Boston Rob is on a power trip, but if you've watched him play Survivor over decades, and I have, that's how he plays. He steamrolls over everybody. He is a with me or against me type person, and it actually works for this game. And I personally do not like Danielle as a traitor. I feel like she's all over the place. I don't understand her strategy. And Carolyn, we find out from Carolyn that frenetic energy that gets me so anxious, that is a strategy on her part. And it's funny because when they go to breakfast the next morning, and as the people come in, they're relieved that they finally found a traitor. Bob Harper, when Carolyn comes in, he says she's so disheveled. She comes in like she ran around the block. And it's true. That is how Carolyn presents herself. Somebody else suspected her. Dylan actually kind of looking at her. Because Dylan just, he gets a little thing about people. He said, what about Carolyn? But he's saying it to Danielle. And that's when Bob Harper pipes up and said she can't get herself together to do that. So Carolyn's still under the radar. Danielle is somebody that she's going to come. To me, she's not as under the radar as she thinks she is. And again, she's not my favorite traitor. There's only 3 left, but she's not my favorite. With breakfast, they come in threes. The people come in, everybody's relieved as the people that they're close to comes in, their friend come in. And they are suspicious that the other victim could be either Sam, Gabby, or Robin. Sam is no threat to anyone. He came up in the Tourette. The Traitors discussed him and said he's no threat to anyone. Production doesn't want to lose him right now. They like watching him take a shower every week. I could do without it, but okay. Gabby is a member of what she has named the Bambies. It's 3. It's Chriselle from Selling Sunset, who can't stand Tom Sandoval because he cheated on her friend. Gabby is from the Bachelor Nation. And the last person in that group is Nikki, who I still think of as Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella is a Gen X legend. She's actually WWE Hall of Famer. She used to fake fight. Her twin sister. They were a WWE act. So Alan Cummings comes in. He's in all mint green and a brooch. I just love the way Alan is always fixed up. He's cute to me and he's funny. And he has that droll sense of humor. So he makes his little statement about Robin and throws her picture on the floor. Everybody's shocked that it's Robin. Dolores is the last of her kind. She is the last surviving housewife. And this strategy is not making any sense to me because the housewives are no threat. They get dressed up, they walk around. If there's any type of thing where they're going out and they're trying to win something, the housewives are usually going to let somebody else step up, and their strategy has been off. Robin, when she did her last confessional, she found out she had been chosen for the Traitors to be executed. She, in her delusion, thought that it was because she's a threat. That's not the reason why, Robin. They're going down this housewives thing, and Dolores might be next, unless they decide they're not going to do the housewives thing. So Robin is gone. The game is actually, they're going to take them to a church. But before that, they mill around the house and they let everybody kind of get together in 2s and 3s, going in and out of different rooms. Wes ends up talking to Eeyore and he says, what is the way to, if you know someone is a traitor? And then Tom Sandoval is the one that pipes up and say, well, you might be a traitor. But Eeyore takes this information to Boston Rob and says, I just want to tell you about Wes. Wes is suspicious of you. So Rob, being who Rob is, Boston Rob brought it right to Wes and confronted him. Did you say that? Did you say my name? Survivor is a big thing about saying people's name, because once you say someone's name, you can actually write their name and then you get numbers up against them. And that person is eliminated off the island to go home and they no longer have a chance to win that $1 million for their family. So Rob is very paranoid about that. And actually, I didn't mention, in the Tourette, he was saying he will not come for Danielle or Carolyn unless they come for him. And Carolyn was saying, well, I don't think that Bob the drag queen said your name. She's playing stupid. And now I know she's playing. Carolyn's smarter than that. Bob the drag queen did not say Boston Rob's name, but he said the 3 new guys all need to be looked at. Boston Rob is one of the 3 new guys. So I don't like when people play too cute by half. We know what he was trying to do. He's trying to throw suspicion on Boston Rob because Bob the drag queen, if I didn't say it, let me put up my banner. Bob the drag queen, that name is a name that he has given himself. So I don't go around calling people drag queens, but that is a name that he has given to himself. I put that up as a ticker, but I don't see the scroll. But everything on the video is alleged in my own personal opinion. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. An allowance is made for fair use. Excuse me with all this clicking. Something's going on this morning with StreamYard, and it's user error most of the time. And I recognize that. I admit that readily all the time. But there's something even different this morning. So, Carolyn and Danielle are now worried about Rob. They're scared. They see how Boston Rob works. Carolyn already knew because she's from Survivor Nation. She's watched Rob. Boston Rob is a Survivor legend, and people that watch that show know what he's about. Danielle, I think, did not know. And Danielle now, I think, still thinks that she can do something to kind of get ahead of Boston Rob. I don't think she's smart enough. I don't think she's playing the game the right way. So I still think that unless she and Carolyn get together, Boston Rob's going to be able to run over them the same way Bob the drag queen was running over them. The next part of, let me see if I put the comments back up. Okay, so episode 5, and we may still just be with Team Replay in here, but that is okay. I just wanted to make sure I got this up there. I'm sorry, everybody, again. Okay, there go the comments. So this, the next part, they're actually going to go to a church. They go to this church. Alan Cummings describes this game to them. He's going to be giving them little cues and little poems, and then they will have to come up with whether or not the end of the word. And when they get to the front of the church, there is a board that might have the end of the word. If he gives a riddle and they get the right word, they will smash an urn. If they get gold powder, they get to put a name up on the board to receive a shield, and they also win $2,500. If they get black powder, that's just ash in that urn. There's no shield. They don't get to choose a name to keep people safe. So the people that they end up, Bob Harper runs up there without even hearing the question. And he's, of course, wrong. He smashes the urn and there's black in it. He doesn't get to choose a name. Derek ends up going up there. Derek, the cop from Big Brother. Derek's really good. He's quiet. He's a faithful. He sits back. He watches everybody. He was one of the later ones to enter the game. 3 strategists, 3 gamers entered the game late. Boston Rob from Survivor, Wes from The Challenge, and Derek from Big Brother. And the latter 2 are they're faithfuls. Wes and Derek are faithfuls. Derek gets the correct answer. He puts his picture on the board, but as they go through, they have about 10, 12 people to go. And you have an option. If you get your question right, you can take a picture down and put it back up. Danielle goes up there she thinks she's this big strategist. Danielle ends up taking Derek's picture down and said, I'm tired of the housewives leaving. She takes Derek's picture down, puts Dolores's picture up, which puzzles even Dolores. And Boston Rob in his confessional said, what is she doing? She's letting people know she thinks she's safe. The only way you can be safe from going home, at least from being killed to go home by the traitors, is if you're a traitor. Now, you can still be banished, as we saw what happened to Bob the drag queen. You can get banished, but the whole round table has to agree to that. So they go through this game. The people that end up being safe are, they took Derek's picture down. So Dolores, I can't remember the other one. I feel like it was Sierra's, because Sierra needed a shield. Sierra was in the coffin. What they're doing now is that they're suspecting the people that were in that coffin challenge in episode 4, and they feel like a traitor was in the coffin. So Jeremy was in the coffin, Jeremy from Survivor, Sierra from Summer House, the regular Summer House that has the other people on it, not the new Summer House that I was watching, which was Summer House Martha's Vineyard with me and mine, and Nikki Bella. So now suspicion is on Sierra and Nikki Bella. So they go back, they're going around the house, each in these little circles, suspecting each other. Nikki Bella, because she was in a coffin and because of her demeanor, is coming under suspicion by everybody in the house, even the Bambis. And what I did not like, Chriselle goes to Boston Rob and says, oh, I feel terrible. I just want you to know, I just feel terrible. But in the sprinter, somebody said something and Nikki just gave this face. And I'm like, okay, why does that put her under suspicion that she gave a face? Nikki was, and she's an athlete. She was WWE. She's a bit of an actress because a lot of that is fake, but they do have some physicality that has to be done. And she's just deadpan. And she's not going to go out defending herself or crying or being one of these other, wide-eyed Bambis. Nikki's just Nikki's a real deal. I actually like Nikki Bella. Nikki Garcia is her actual name, but they want her to fight and try to save herself and all this. She's not going to do it. So now she even has people in her own alliance turning on her, which is that's kind of sad. So to get to the round table, the names that are coming up is Nikki Bella. Rob is under suspicion, but then he's having people stand up saying, I feel like Rob is a faithful, even though Rob's not a faithful. Everybody like, share, subscribe, and I appreciate it. I'm up early because I have an appointment today. How is the sound? This new mic, I have a new mic. And then I also, with my new iPad, it has surrounding sound as far as the microphone. But my voice is kind of scratchy. So at the round table, the main people need to defend themselves tonight are going to be Boston Rob, because of the little rumor going around with Wes saying that he might be a traitor. Sierra, because she was in a coffin from the coffin challenge. And Nikki Bella, because she was in a coffin from the coffin challenge and because of her demeanor. Sierra's fighting for her life. She suspects Nikki. Nikki's own Bambi crew starts to suspect her. The only person that doesn't vote against Nikki ends up being Dylan. Dylan suspects Gabby, and a few other people suspected Gabby. So the round table is kind of sad. I think if I were on this show, if I didn't win the show, the way I would rather go out would be to have the traitor take me out, because the round table is grueling. They're sitting around accusing each other based on either nothing, or based on a lie that somebody told, or based on just a whisper. So when Nikki, I keep calling her Nikki Bella, but that's her WWE name. When Nikki stands up, she gets enough votes, even from the Bambis. Again, Dylan was the only one, he went for Gabby. He's wrong there, but he went for Gabby. When Nikki gets to the circle of truth, she turns around, she said, the good part is I get to go home to my son. The bad part is, for you guys, I'm a faithful. And she turns around and leaves. She didn't give last words like Tony did. Tony said, call Rob a sellout. You a sellout, bro. And I was with Tony. Boston Rob did sell him out. But Nikki, it was really sad. Chriselle had this dumb little hat on, this little Easter church hat. And she's crying. Oh, I feel so bad. I mean, I wanted her to fight harder. How do you fight harder if somebody accuses you of something that you are not? Nikki is a faithful. How can she fight harder that she's not a traitor? She's not innocent until proven guilty. She's now got to prove to them that she's not a traitor when she knows that she's not. And they played the game like she wasn't until the coffin challenge, and then they started to whisper and suspect her. So that round table is kind of grueling. I love that about this game though, because now everybody back at the house, they're crying almost like a funeral that, I didn't know. And even Bob Harper's going, I thought she was a traitor. Yeah, because y'all started talking about her and she wasn't defending herself the way that you thought she could defend herself. And I might have went out just like that. I don't think I would have been begging to stay or anything like that. I try to convince you, hey, I'm a faithful. You've played the game with me. You know I'm a faithful. But for some reason, that's not the way they think. And also something else that is brewing, we see Daniel at the beginning of the game saying that she needs to take Boston Rob out. Somehow during the midst of the challenges and throughout the game, she starts dropping suspicion onto Carolyn. So Carolyn, who's now, we know she's smarter than we think she is. Once Carolyn figures out that Danielle is saying her name, I want to see Carolyn team up with Boston Rob and go against Danielle. Okay, let me see what Sharon Gobble. We know Sharon's watching the show. I do not like Boston Rob, even when he was on Survivor, but he knows how to advance in the game. That's true, Sharon Gobble. I don't like him, like personally. I do like him in this game. I like how he goes straight at it. Like when he went with Wes and tried to get to the bottom of it. But it's funny to me that people allow him to question them. I say, hey, you're questioning me. You're questioning other people. I have a right to question you, because they're supposed to be hunting traitors. Because if there's even one traitor left, they take all the money, even though they only start out with 3 traitors. Sometimes they add one, like this time they added one. But I don't know why the traitors get so upset when they get questioned. Like Bob the drag queen going around threatening Dylan and calling him misguided. He had no right to get that man a stage name. He's supposed to look for traitors. Sharon Garbold said Danielle will be next, in my opinion. Oh, I saw my ring light go out. I figured what happened with that. I think Danielle will be next too. And I won't care if Danielle is next. She's too obvious. Like in that church, I can understand the traitors trying to win a shield or that sort of thing, just so they look like they're not secure in their position. They look like they need a shield for the round table. But Danielle, she goes too far. Like at breakfast, when she'll be crying at breakfast and then she'll turn around looking for where's the eggs. She's just too obvious. She's not as good an actor as she thinks she is. And I think someone even mentioned that about her in the past. So people are watching Danielle. So we're going to see what happens with that. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to Sandra P's GenXtra. Thank you for showing up for a very early Saturday morning Traitors review, Traitors 5. And let's see, if anything else happened in the episode that was pertinent to me. Rob, I thought it was funny when I like how when they get them out of there in the morning, they take them out before breakfast. So they sit in the chair, they get the note, and they get to give their last confessional. And she seemed to think it was because she was a threat. She didn't have one traitor in her sights, none. And every time someone would bring Robin Dixon an actual traitor, she would say, "No, that's not him, and here's the reason." And she would be so wrong. So it was during my last review, I was shocked that Robin Dixon is indeed that dumb. And the chat confirmed that they always knew she was that dumb. So that was kind of funny. That was interesting. Other standouts, I think that Dylan is a standout. I like the way he plays. They have him billed as he's on something called Down to Earth. I don't know what that is unless that is a Netflix show. I'll have to look it up. I feel like I saw a show called Down to Earth, but I can't remember the premise of it unless I think Jeannie Garner was in it and she was friends with this lady that was kind of crazy and all this different stuff happened. Either he's in that, he's also Zac Efron's brother. We heard Bob the drag queen kind of throw shade for some reason at Zac Efron. I don't know how he ended up doing that. But Dylan said, I grew up with an actor. I think Bob the drag queen's an actor. And he said, I can recognize an actor when I see one. And Bob said something like, well, not a good one. Zac Efron's he's a good actor. You know, for what that was. He was in a lot of kid type movies, and now he does like romantic comedies and stuff. But Bob the drag queen was a big personality. I guess people are going to miss him in the show. It looked like the time stopped. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this live up. And thank everybody for coming into the live. I apologize for the technical difficulties in the beginning, but I'm going to watch Traitors. The only other show, I'm getting ready for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which I'm doing with a group of 4, dropping extra sassy tea talk. So we will be doing that as soon as that views. I'm not sure if we're going to do the live review or we're going to review it and then do a review of it. I know it's not going to be pre-recorded because we do like to go engage with the chat and that sort of thing. So we'll figure out how we're going to do it. We'll do it during the show or let the show play and then come back and review it. But the other things I'm watching, Young, Famous, and African, there are so many episodes. I'm only up to 4, and it's getting kind of exhausting. I'm one of the people that Annie has a special place in my heart from season 1. And because I like a lot of Nollywood, and Annie has been in a ton of movies. And Annie has this kind of a victim thing. She does go around and drop little things about different people, but she ends up with everybody kind of circling back and not bullying, but kind of picking at her. So I feel really badly when that happens with Annie, even though some of it she might bring on herself. Boss lady Zaria, I'm not a huge fan of. She's married this young boy, and she's mad about it. He's 23 or so. She got a son that's his age. So Annie keeps mentioning that, and Zaria's not happy about it. Diamond Platinums is still up to his Diamond Platinums things. He has those 2 children with Zaria. They have this kind of love, I won't even say love-hate, love relationship with each other. Very flirty. This young boy she's with, he's a rapper. He's a boxer. He's beautiful, but there's something about those eyes that are a little unnerving. Shakim, I think his name is. She better watch that one because she's playing with him. He don't seem the type to play. He's very young. He's the type something could really go down, and he's a fan of Diamond Platinums. They let us know that that comes up. We see a picture of them when they were both young. Diamond didn't remember him until production found the picture and showed it. So there's a lot going on. Zaria, not Zaria, Zadia. I do not like her. The one that had a famous boyfriend that she didn't want to bring his name on the show. He passed away in real life, and they're trying to bring that on the show. Poor Fantana, they still got acting like Love and Hip Hop reject. She's embarrassing. She's young, but I'm finding out she's 26. That is young in comparison to these other people. I just wish she weren't on TV acting like that. Diamond is making all kinds of fool out of this girl, and she won't listen to anybody. Swanky was my favorite, season 1. When Swanky fell out with Annie, I felt like he was really cruel to Annie because Annie, of course, has attachment issues with Tubaba playing in her head since she's 15 years old, and Tubaba being this huge African superstar. I even know who he is. I remember that song, African Girls. So I don't know what's going to happen with Annie and Swanky Jerry, but I don't know if they'll get back together. I don't think that they trust each other. Because supposedly there's some voice note going around with Annie talking bad about Swanky Jerry, but Jerry, I don't know, because then he'll come back and say, there wasn't a voice note. No, he didn't say there wasn't a voice note. He said Annie was on the phone with the manager. He was on a third line or something. And Annie keeps saying, show the voice note, show the voice note, play it. But we don't really know what's going on with that. Some kind of reality show foolishness. And then they don't show my girl Kanye until episode 3 or 4. She comes in to comfort Sadia. I think I kind of touched on everybody except Andale. I don't know where my beautiful Andale is. His situation was getting real sticky. He has 2 children around the same age with 2 different gorgeous women. So Andale is not here. Naked DJ is still there. He is still playing with his girlfriend. They're living together. I call it playing house because she wants to get married now, and he's claiming he doesn't, where she says when they started the relationship, he was the one that wanted to get married. So there's a lot going on at Young, Famous, and African. And they added a huge Nollywood superstar, Annie Edo. Annie Edo. Oh, beautiful Luis. Luis is still, he acts, I figured it out with Luis. He acts about 15 or 16 years old. He was on a show, a Big Brother show, Big Brother Africa, and he ended up having relations with a lady on the show. His family is from a super religious sect. They did not name it. It sounds like Jehovah's Witnesses, honestly, because they can excommunicate someone, and the family that's still within that faith have excommunicated Luis. And Luis had a storyline last season where he is thinking about surrogacy, even though he's this young, beautiful man. He can have any girlfriend. He could choose a wife tomorrow, but he's afraid of losing a family member because he has been excommunicated from his family. So he doesn't want a mother that's able to be in the child's life and know the child. He wants his own baby to himself. Luis needs deep therapy for that because he was even asking Zaria what she thought about it and if she might give an egg. And Luis is very immature in teenage acting because everybody would know Zaria don't have any eggs to give. I don't know what age she's claiming. She might be a Gen Xer. She's among the oldest in that group. And seeing her next to her new 23-year-old or 20-year-old, they keep giving different ages. I don't know. So that is a short rundown, but this was supposed to be Traitors. It actually was Traitors. I'll put the timestamps in here. Traitors US season 3, episode 5, and then with my thoughts on cast and everything else leading up to, I don't mean to show Harris Teeter. But I will be back. I'll come back into the YouTube streets. I'll be in other people's streams because I'll be running errands. Then if I have anything else to come live about, I will. Thank everybody that showed up today. I appreciate Team Replay. And I hope you all have a very great satisfactory, satisfying Saturday. Thank you for joining Sandra P's GenXtra. And today, this was That Little Girl Was Me, but it's a sweatshirt. That's Kamala Harris's stock phrase. I hope she's lying in the sun somewhere. I wish I still was. If you look at this stuff that's going on now, it's crazy. They talking about my people at Target. Target. I don't want to give up Target, but I can. I can give up any of them, honestly. Not easily, but I can do it. So everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me on this live. Oh, I know what it is. It's my touch screen.